Hi guys, so today's video is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to discuss purchasing equipment for your business. So we're going to cover if you're going to buy a skid steer loader, excavator, track machine, crane, maybe even a trailer, whatever your purchasing needs might be for your business. We're going to discuss the three different options, the most popular three options. That would be buying outright, which would cover new and used equipment. It would be leasing the equipment, which would only be for new, and a rental purchase program, or PP, which could be for either a brand new machine or a used rental machine. So we're going to cover these three purchasing options and see which one works for you. We'll cover which one works for me, which one works for my father, and hopefully we'll find something that works out for you as well. So the first thing that I would like to cover is when you're going to purchase a machine outright, whether it be new or used. So there's a big difference if you're going to buy a new or used machine. First of all, when you're purchasing a new machine, financing could be a huge factor in the decision of your purchase because used machines are never 0% financing. When the only time you'll get zero is if the dealer is running a promotion on new equipment. So used machines, you're going to end up paying a very high interest rate. I've heard interest rates of 5.9 all the way up to 10 or more percent. So that could be a huge decision on your end because you could lose a lot of money to interest for no reason when you go used. So if you're going to go buy new, 0% could be a big deal for you. So that's one thing that you can look at. And you could span your payments out over 3, maybe even 5 years. So that could be huge as well. And when you buy a machine outright, you own it. It's yours to do whatever you wish with it. You don't have to worry about hours, whether you put a lot of hours or a little bit of hours on it. You don't have to worry about damage. If something should happen to it, not a problem. It's yours. You don't have anyone breathing down your neck saying, hey, that's really not your piece of equipment to be wrecking. So maybe if you put a jackhammer on it or, a drop hammer, whatever, if you're in demolition, whatever the case may be, you would have to be a little bit careful with the other two that we're going to discuss. But if it's new and you own it outright, it's yours. And you can do whatever you wish with it. Snow, whatever. 12-month standard warranty is pretty much most manufacturers bumper to bumper. Some components they will warranty 3 years or more. You'd have to check with the manufacturer and the dealership on that. The downside to buying a machine outright is that you're going to be stuck with that piece of equipment for the duration of its life. So pretty much if it's not a good machine or if it really didn't fit your needs, you're kind of stuck with it. Or if you're going to trade it, you're going to take a huge loss on it. But then the flip side of the coin is if it's a good piece of equipment and you can keep it for 10 years or more, you will actually get money back on that trade-in. So when you are ready to trade this machine, when you do, you're going to get money back into your pocket, or you can put it towards the purchase of your next new machine. So that's also a good thing. So you don't walk out of this empty-handed. So that's a good point to make with purchasing the equipment outright. Now let's talk about, so before we get into leasing, that's the way I buy equipment because I don't put very high hours on them. I average about 200 to 250. So the next program we're going to talk about is leasing would not be right for me. So my father leased the E45, the excavator you see in some of my videos. The reason why he decided to lease it was because at his age, he didn't want to deal with breakdowns anymore. This machine is his main machine that goes out almost on a daily basis. Now, the flip side of the coin is you're paying, let's just keep the numbers simple. If it's $70,000 for this machine, new, you're going to pay half that. You're going to pay $35,000. So it's a low hour, what they call a low hour lease. So that means that he can only put 1,500 hours on this machine. It's kind of like 30,000 miles on a car. So the same deal, if you go over the hours, you get penalized. And like the point I made before, if the machine gets damaged, whether it be no fault of your own or windows are broken, whatever, you're on the hook for that. You have to pay to fix it. So that's something to keep in mind when you lease. And also the issue is with leasing is you are now under duress to put that machine out regularly, because if you don't put the hours on it, you're going to actually be losing money on the deal. A guy like me would actually end up paying money out of pocket, because at the end of the lease, I only put half the recommended hours on that piece of equipment. So at 1,500 hours, I average 250, let's say. That's only going to be 750, while my father can easily hit that 1,500 goal. And he's only paying for half the machine. And then he has the option, if he wants to buy it at the end of the lease, he can take that balloon payment and pay it all at the end, or he can give it back and get something new. And then he doesn't have to worry about it either. So the bonus of leasing is you get a new machine every 3 years, and you really don't have to worry about breakdowns, because the warranty will be bumper to bumper for 3 years. So you don't have to worry about fixing this piece of equipment during the duration of this lease, as long as it's not abuse. So, that's something to keep in mind as well. But to me, unless you are putting a good amount of hours on that piece of equipment, and you'll hit that 1,500 hour plateau, or whatever hour mark you may choose for your lease, whatever they may give you, if you feel confident that you're going to hit it, then you can go for it. But if not, just know if you don't use that machine regularly, you're going to start losing money. And that's going to be an issue. So for me, I would have to pretty much lease a machine for close to 10 years in order to see my money out of it. So it's not going to work out. So that's why I choose to buy. That's why my father chose to lease. Another good point about leasing is that you give the piece of equipment back, you then get no money back at the end of that. You just have a constant payment to make for the remainder of your life, or the remainder of how long you lease. I shouldn't have said that's a good thing. That's actually a bad thing. Oh well, I screwed up. I'm sorry. It's a bad thing. So it's the same thing like leasing a car. You will constantly be making payments until you say enough is enough. Now, again, if you put the high hours and you can do it, then swapping out equipment is fine. But if you're like me and you don't put those heavy hours, and machines are not the primary end of your business, then leasing is not an option for you. The last thing I would like to discuss is the rental purchase program, RPP. Now, what that means is what this really pertains to is a newer contractor or someone who's on the fence about buying a particular piece of equipment. So if you're not sure that this machine will fit your business, or you want to just take it on a demo run, but you want to keep it for months, this is the program for you, because they'll basically rent you this machine long term, maybe 90 days, 120 days, and you can see if it works for you. And if it does, you can end up purchasing it at the end of that rental agreement. So what that ends up meaning is that the money you paid for the rental goes towards the purchase of the machine. So it's not money lost. So basically, when you go to your local rental house, and let's say you need a machine for a week. Let's say you take it out for a week. You pay them for that week. Let's just say, for instance, it's $1,000. You pay it. 2 weeks go by, you need it again, another $1,000. Another week and a half, 3 weeks go by, another $1,000, another $1,000. And before you know it, you're paying big money in rental fees, and you're really not getting anywhere. You're kind of treading water. Okay, maybe you're making money on that piece of equipment while you're doing the job, but you're really not getting anywhere. And then when you decide to go to your dealership and purchase a machine, that money is just poof, it's gone. But if you were to do an RPP, then that money, it's almost like doubling your money, because now you've not only paid for part of the machine already, but you have made profit already on top of that piece of equipment. So you have kind of doubled that one particular set of money that you put down on it. You kind of made it work for you twice. So that's why the rental purchase program would not work out for me. It really wouldn't work for my father. We already know the equipment that we need. But if you're on the fence, if you're new to the business, and let's just say you rented a machine that's too small for you. So you said, okay, let's take my machines for instance. Okay, I have an S185, but it can't lift what I need it to lift. But an S300 can lift that, let's just say, skid of sod or that skid of pavers. It can lift it. So maybe I need an S300. So now you say, I would like to get an S300. Still, that rental money can go towards that machine. So it's almost like a trial and error that you can see what may or may not work for you. So that's also a very good thing about the rental purchase program, is that you can basically demo a machine for months rather than just a day and see how it integrates into your business. And if it integrates well and you see the use for it, then hey, pull the trigger and buy it. And if you see, well, it really didn't work out over these 4 months, I didn't use it in the fashion that I thought, I don't need a machine right now, you give it back and it's really no harm, no foul. So it's not like you leased it or you bought it and now you're stuck with it and you don't use it. So that's also something that you should keep in mind as well. So guys, I hope this video has helped you out. If you have any questions, comments, you agree with me, disagree with me, leave that in the comment section. Please, guys, be safe, take care, and I will talk to you guys soon.